Hey, what up, YouTube? Black Renaissance oh 07 back again with another video out of Houston, Texas, aka Hood Rap Mecca of the South. Check it out.
New at 6, an alarming health trend impacting a lot of women across our area. Syphilis skyrocketing in Houston. Good evening, I'm Keith Garvin.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Daniela Guzman. Well, the Houston Health Department is calling the sharp rise in cases of the sexually transmitted disease an outbreak. KPRC2's Andy Sirota live in Sunnyside, where a community meeting was held today about this. Andy?
Danny, Keith, a number of medical directors from some of the community-based health clinics attended that meeting here today at the Sunnyside Health and Multi-Service Center, along with members of the Harris County and Fort Bend County Health Departments. Of all the cases Houston health officials are seeing, it's predominantly women of color who are most impacted. Nationally, there's been an uptick in syphilis cases, and health officials here say in many ways Houston is no different when it comes to what's happening in many major urban areas across the country right now.
As a large urban jurisdiction, we've got to be really aggressive in our response when we see these kinds of cases, because we have millions of people who may be at risk.
Since 2016, syphilis cases in women have increased by 128%. New infections rose from 1,845 in 2019 to nearly 3,000 in 2022. Cases involving women who passed the infection onto their baby during pregnancy soaring from 16 cases in 2016 to 151 in 2021.
To see the numbers rise in this alarming rate really sounded the alarm for us.
Houston health officials urging pregnant women to seek prenatal care and syphilis testing to protect themselves from an infection that could result in the death of their babies. Untreated syphilis during pregnancy can result in a stillbirth.
We're waiving fees, so we want to encourage folks to come in and get services.
Local health officials say they're seeing a lot of co-infections of HIV with syphilis, along with gonorrhea and chlamydia. The health department is working with medical providers and collaborating with its community-based partners to increase awareness of the outbreak and enhance testing and treatment in Houston neighborhoods.
All right, so quick disclaimer up front, like this ain't a bashing video. I don't want people get emotional talking about, oh, you bashing black women, you bashing, all you doing is bashing black women or something like that. This is a fact, okay? I plan on presenting some information, hopefully that will put us in a better position. But this is a fact. This came out of Houston, Texas. We see that there's been 128% increase in syphilis cases, and that there's also been a ninefold increase in congenital syphilis cases. Surprise, surprise. It mostly affects black women. That shouldn't really be a surprise. But what I find troubling about this, I guess, is that I've seen reports that black women are the most educated, have the most degrees, obtain the most college degrees, what have you. They are responsible. They're the demographic responsible for creating the most new businesses. Yet we have this embarrassing ass statistic. So I'm having trouble reconciling the two. Like, how do we have such great achievements like that on the one hand, and then you have this embarrassing ass statistic on the other? So how is it that black women are leading in STDs and simultaneously leading in obtaining college degrees? Not sure how to reconcile that. But so the thing about this also is, like, let's think about this. So how is it that black women are disproportionately affected by this, but there's no mention of black men in the newscast? You would expect that they would say, okay, well, if black women aren't exclusively sleeping with black men, but there's some component of men, there's some racial group, ethnic group of men that also should be lumped into this newscast, or this broadcast rather, but they're not. They're not talking about men. I'll get to that later. I'll get to it later. So what we should know about black women, we already know that this is going to disproportionately affect black women just by the nature of the cultural or the social groups or the social environment that black women often find themselves in. What does that mean? Well, black women have the lowest marriage rates. Black women also have the highest out of wedlock birth rates. Okay. They're also heavily marketed as sexual objects, all in the name of sexual liberation. Well, unfortunately, this is a byproduct. STDs are going to come along with sexual liberation. Okay. So another thing is we have to consider that Black women appear to be heavily involved in lesbian and bisexual relationships. We got to talk about that. When I was like, I would say back when I was like in high school, unheard of. Black stud, we had a handful, and it was relegated to the ugly ones. You knew them ugly girls with studs. Ugly girls on a basketball team, they studs. Oh, the pretty girls? Hell no, they ain't studs, man. Them girls look good. They look good. Pretty, long hair. Oh, I'm getting sidetracked. But no, what I'm talking about, back in high school, you didn't have no studs like that. These damn studs are walking around proudly, boldly. This is a relatively new thing. You had a handful of bisexual Black women, a handful of gay Black women, a handful of lesbian Black women, or so to speak. What I know that a lot of guys don't know, these women that you see walking around looking all attractive and all feminine, these women are bisexual, but they report as straight. Did you know that? Y'all knew that, right? Y'all knew that? Okay. They're probably not going to be very upfront with you about it. There are a lot of very attractive Black women that have kids that have had bisexual experiences within the last 3 years or so, as this sexual liberation has become more popular within the last 5 years or so. This is definitely a thing, and you really wouldn't know about it if you're not conversing with them. You wouldn't. With someone that feels open enough to disclose a part of their life to you, that part of their life to you. These women, for the most part, you would say, oh, she's a straight woman. She's straight. They are straight to a degree. There's an asterisk there, a small disclaimer, but I'm getting sidetracked. Another reason why this will disproportionately affect Black women is because of the 80-20 rule. Well, what's the 80-20 rule? That just says that in a given population, you're going to have about 80% of the women go after the top 20% of men. I don't care if it's back in high school. I don't care if it's back in college. I don't care if it's at your job. 99.9% of the time, you're going to have the vast majority of women at that place. If they are sexually active, they are not pairing up on a 1-for-1 scenario where is this woman with this guy. This woman is with this other guy. This other woman is with this. That ain't how it works. You have a handful of guys, and those guys who are at the top of that, in the top of that social group, are running through the bulk of the women. Anybody who's actually lived a day or two should know that. So that's how it goes. And we're not talking about, oh, well, these are the high earners, like in their social circles, like they're dealing with the hot. No, these are the guys with the most gold teeth. These are the guys with the longest chains. These are the guys that are known to be violent. These are the guys with the most baby mamas. That's who they say, hey, you know what? He's desirable. So I'm going to have sex with him. You out here, you ain't got no kids. You 40, you ain't got no kids. Man, they ain't checking for you. Not like talking about. You may be like, you're going to have to really have your stuff together. But man, for real, no, they want the men that have already been socially vetted. She wants the man that other women want. She don't want you. Look, if no one's checking for you, she's not checking for you. I'm getting sidetracked again. Now, with the congenital herpes cases, with the congenital syphilis cases. So I'm trying to wrap this thing up with those congenital syphilis cases. So how does that happen? So we know that we have congenital cases where a mother passes that disease to their unborn child, or passes that disease to their child through the birthing process. But we also know that there's disease, there's STD screening in the first trimester. So that means that for a mother to pass it along to baby, she ain't getting no damn prenatal care. No prenatal care. So she out here, she down bad like that where she can't go to a damn prenatal check. Y'all queens ain't going to prenatal checks? Okay. The other scenario is that she actually goes through the prenatal checks. So she's been to the doctor, she's had the screening, she's been checked. But what happens? Hot girl summer happens. Her ass is turning up. Baby or no baby. She don't care about that baby. That baby ain't gonna stop her from turning up. And so that's how you end up having a 9-fold increase in congenital syphilis cases. These damn women are trifling. These are the women that y'all have to pick from. I'm glad I got my wife. Because look, it's rare. These women, the qualities that these women have, they don't have maternal qualities. They don't have nurturing qualities. You would think that a woman says, hey, I have a child now. I need to put me on the back burner and kind of readjust my life or adjust my life so that I'm creating the best environment possible for my child, for my unborn child. That's just not the case.